Friends, in the grand scheme of things, one thing I know for sure is that both Islam and Hinduism are pagan, meaning their ultimate god is Lucifer, who operates from the abyss of the oceans. If it is so, why do they attack each other? Well, here I must admit that the Islamists are on the extreme because their holy book clearly instructs them as to how to deal with the infidels, which of course is everyone except the Muslims, which is the rest of the world. And another thing I found out is that Allah is not Yahweh who created Adam and Eve. In fact, I made a series of small clips with the same title, Allah is not Yahweh. Please take a look. When Yahweh God confused the language of people at the Tower of Babel, it was the fallen entities from Lucifer's abyss such as Oannes of Sumer, Agastya of India, and Allah of Arabia that gave languages to people. That's why when the scary entity at the cave of Hira first met Muhammad, it said, "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clot of blood. Read, and your Lord is most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man what he did not know," meaning reading and writing skills were taught by Allah. And again, Lucifer's hand on Islam can be seen throughout its narrative. Do you know that even as a little boy, Prophet Muhammad was targeted by Lucifer's aquatic demons? I made a video on that titled The Grooming of a Prophet. Please don't miss it. Now, let's look at some commonalities between Islam and Hinduism. In both these religions, if someone dies in a battleground, he will straight away go to heaven, and that person will get heavenly maidens as well. Even their goddesses Mana and Aluza are alive and well in Hinduism. Furthermore, when Muslims go to Mecca, they dress up like Hindus, circumambulate the Kaaba, venerate Hubal's birth spot, shave the hair off their heads, just like pagans. Now, if Islam and Hinduism is so connected, then why do they kill each other? Well, it is because the devil has a need, friends. It is the blood that the devil needs. Having been cut off from the heavens, life is ebbing away from the devil and his demons. They are badly in need of blood in order to survive. That's why they demand sacrifices. And that's why millions of animals are slaughtered in Mecca each year. It is for the upkeep of Lucifer and his demons, and it has nothing to do with the propitiation of sins. It is the same in Hinduism as well. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 11 explains it very clearly. It states that the demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. However, nowadays, most of the Hindus don't give any sacrifice. Then what? Well, it is not a problem. Nowadays, Lucifer has millions of customers in the West as well, practicing Hinduism and doing yoga. Once anyone let those spirits get into their bodies, they help themselves with some glandular secretions or blood for their survival. Listen to Mr. Phil Snyder, who had an encounter with the spirits.
We're considered bags of food to them. They don't eat us like we think of a cannibal eating a hunk of meat, but they use our glandular secretions as part of their food base, their blood and our glandular secretions like adrenochrome and other kinds of things like this.
So, what should we do? Find out what is God's will for us humans, friends. The Bible states in John chapter 3 verse 16 that, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice, friends. His sacrifice was mentioned in the Indian Vedas long before the dawn of any other religion. He is not another Hindu god or an Islamic prophet. If anyone humble themselves and accept the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross for the eradication of sins, then that person will go to be with God and Jesus in heaven when they die. That is the deal, friends. I hope and pray we all make the right choices for our lives. Thanks for watching.